Hello, hello. If you just joined us, I'm just setting things up. We'll be talking about a couple of things here. Okay, I'm just setting things up. Just if you could just bear with me. Okay. 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 So hi everybody who's just joining us. We'll be discussing about field marshals. This how do I put it? It's a very interesting speech today in Florida because it was to the Pakistani overseas Pakistanis, of course. Okay, we can't hear you, Usman sir. Can you hear me? If you can just comment on that. I could see Fazan, um, Kamal Kadni, of course, he's just changed this. Ali bhai, what's the purpose? Okay, okay, okay. We can hear you. Thank you, Fazan. So, welcome everybody who's just joined us. This is a very special presentation. It is, you can see chai at my back. I actually make my tea like this. Um, and this is in a thermos. I just keep on drinking it. So, uh, okay, interesting time. So we'll be talking about a lot of things. We'll be talking about a lot of things, and one of it is, of course, Chief uh, Asim Munir, Florida speech. चलें इसे उर्दू में रखते हैं. I think a lot of people have been saying it. Um, General Asim Munir was in Florida, of course. The real reason जो वहां पे जाना हुआ इनका वो जो यूएस सेंट्रल कमांड के जनरल पेनेटा का फेयरवेल था. He met the new CENTCOM chief, which is um, a naval person who has been to Pakistan, interestingly, twice. He met him. Um, I was one of the few people who actually reported this first um, about this meeting. Then today, a really good friend of mine, Sahbzada Babar, and his family hosted this event in Florida. Um, or His father, of course, is the honorary consul general for Florida. They own a company called Venus Food. Venus Food जो है वो पाकिस्तान में from all these chains, from McDonald's to KFC, they specialize in importing specialized food products and reselling them. It's one of the biggest names. They own Texas Chicken to a lot of other things in Pakistan. Big business group. So उन्होंने आज जो है वो uh, एक event रखा for, and it was actually a sold out event. uh, it was attended by everybody, to be honest, and very interesting things happened in this. Of course, one was, let me just put down some of the things, and so it'd be more easier for everybody, right? Okay. Let me just sorting out. So it was a, so this is actually recorded, so it would be uh, sorted out anyway. Okay. So आपने देखा कि of course he so field marshal was there. This was a gathering of about 250 people. Uh, it has I'm actually opening my Facebook privacy. A lot of people. Okay, it won't let me open it. Okay, so let me just share this. So it was a very interesting event और यहाँ पे जो है वो बहुत सारी बातें हुई. चीफ ने तो आज जो है वो बातें कर दी जो शायद हम कहते थे और करते थे, because it was too hard. It was I personally believe for Pakistani field marshal army chief to have gone to an extent and say this, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to an extent where he said what we all thought. Um, वो डू वन, तो आज तो लोग आए एंड ऑफ कोर्स लोगों के फोन्स जो थे वो रख लिए गए उस इवेंट से, एंड द फोन वाज टेकन अवे, देयर वाज नो पिक्चर इवेंट, नो thing, just because this was the field marshal talking to, of course, uh, uh, to the overseas Pakistanis. Uh, so jam packed food. He came out, and khane mein serve kiya gaya. You know, there was salads and chickens, and of course with the finest uh, fish, of course, which was, I'm told, very good fish. Everything was labeled halal. Um, the packs and everything, just to make sure. uh, so Chief started talking, and Chief started talking, especially उन्होंने business community के बारे में बात की. He said how the business community is helping Pakistan. He spoke about the Pakistanis in the United States. He talked about किस तरह से उनकी contribution है overseas Pakistaniयों की. He talked about remittances or be different, and he talked about a lot of other things which we wanted to hear. One is, of course, let me quote him. Uh, and one of the things, okay, let me just, okay, so let's start with this thing. One is, of course, he spoke about how uh, the Indian, आपने देखा होगा कल, जैसे Indian Air Force chief just came out of the blue after 3 months. It was basically, और उन्होंने ये कहा कि जो है वो हमने पाकिस्तान के 5 जहाज मारे हैं, we've just 400, and of course he talked about all these things which Indian does. हमने कल ही बता दिया था the reason for it, because the Trump said that 5 airplanes had been lost in this war. Pakistan claimed to have shot those planes. India didn't. So here we go. India actually said something on these. Uh, जो अच्छा, मुझे फैज़ान पूछे मुझे भी चाय पिला दें। अच्छा, राइट, ओके फैज़ान, बिल्कुल। तो वो सो अ, ब ये जो ये लॉसेस थे, ये जो ऑफ कोर्स, तो इंडिया वांटेड टू पुट अ क्लेम ऑन इट। सो जनरल, मैं थोड़ी-सी चीज़ें आपको बताना चाहूँगा जो बात अभी तक रिपोर्ट नहीं हुई। सॉरी, फील्ड मार्शल आसिम मुनीर से पूछा गया अबाउट द इंडियन एयर फोर्स, जो के चीफ का बयान, तो उसपे उन्होंने जो है वो एक सिंपल एक्सप्लेनेशन दी कि भाई अ, सही है अगर उन्होंने कहा और हमने कहा, हमने तो मारे हैं, हम इन्वेंटरी अपनी खोल देते हैं प्लेन्स की, इंक्लूडिंग F-16 टू एवरीथिंग, स्पेसिफिकली नेम दोज़ प्लेन्स एंड एवरीथिंग, कि आप हम अब खोल देते हैं, इंडिया से भी क्या हम नहीं खोल देते हैं, थर्ड पार्टी लोग आए और चले गए. इट्स एक्चुअली is in sync with the defense minister, which actually said ख्वाजा आसिफ जो है, उन्होंने भी इसी तरह की बात की थी. ऑफ कोर्स दिस इज हाउ द फील्ड मार्शल रिप्लाइड. ही सेड कि हमने बहुत ही बड़ी जंग जीती है. उन्होंने जो बताया कि किस तरह एयरफोर्स, नेवी एंड द आर्मी एक साथ मिलके कौम के साथ लड़े और किस तरह से दुश्मन को बताया. ही टॉक्ड अबाउट फॉरेन पॉलिसी, लेकिन अभी अगर आपके सामने ये स्टेटमेंट आ रहा हो तो उन्होंने कहा कि हिंदुस्तान को कहा कि एक्सेप्ट योर लॉसेस इंडिया, वी आर रेडी फॉर अ प्लेन काउंट इफ यू आर ऑन ट्वीट. उन्होंने कहा कि एक सिंगल ट्वीट विद सूरह फिल अगर आपको पता हो, सूरह फिल इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कुरानिक एक वर्स है ना. अम, और वो है कि किस तरह आपको याद होगा कि ओके, सूरह उन्होंने सूरह फिल का अ, किया और उसका आपको पता होगा कि ये वही सूरत है इसमें 5 वर्सेस हैं और इसपे जो है वो किस तरह से वो एक सूरत है जिसमें कि हाथियों पे जो अबाबील ने कंकर फेंके और किस तरह से हराया. उसकी ऑब्वियसली एक जो इथोपियन ये रूलर था, अबहारा, marched towards Makkah with a huge army that included war elephants. His goal was to demolish Kaaba, the sacred house of worship for Muslims and Arabs. According to Islamic traditions, Allah sent flocks of birds called ababil that dropped stones of baked clay on the army, defeating them miraculously. The Surah Phil का जिक्र किया चीफ ने एंड सूरह और अंबानीज फोटो रिमाइंड और उन्हें अनिल अंबानी का भी जिक्र किया फोटो शुड रिमाइंड यू नेक्स्ट टाइम वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम योर ईस्ट वेयर योर वेल्थ सिट्स नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कमेंट बिकॉज उससे पहले जो था एसपीआर साहब ने ये कमेंट किया एंड वी आर डाइसेक्टिंग व्हाट हैज हैपेंड ऑफ कोर्स अगर आप अभी ज्वाइन हुए हैं we are actually live on a lot of forums. Okay, so अगर तो ओके तो आईएसपीआर साहब ने कहा था कि हम ईस्ट से करेंगे ऑब्वियसली दिस वाज एक्सप्लेन बाय फील्ड मार्शल आसिम मुनीर उन्होंने कहा कि हम ईस्ट से हमला करेंगे और ईस्ट में क्या है हिंदुस्तान का ज्योग्राफी सो ज्योग्राफी ऑफ पाकिस्तान इज सच हमने पहले भी डिस्कस किया था कि जो हमारे पास क्वेश्चन है वो डीप इन स्ट्राइक इनसाइड पाकिस्तान could be 150 kilometers from India, right? A deep inside strike inside India could be something like 4 to 5, 600 kilometers. So we talk about East first policy, but not in military, not in foreign policy terms, but in military terms. So what is there in the East? Of course, it is where the wealth is. And I would और वो किस तरह से होगी let's not discuss strategy. Bangladesh is our partner. You would see a lot of things happening with Bangladesh very soon. India is making things easier for us. They've just threatened Bangladesh just yesterday. Um, of things. So Bangladeshis were, of course, not pleased with the Indians, but of course, now they will be. But how to hit them east? Of course, there are a lot of other options. Let's leave that to the creativity of Indians on this part. This was a big statement. आप लोग क्या सोचते हैं? आप लोग के सवाल हो सकते हैं. कमाल पूछते हैं. Okay. By the way, was surprised to hear about the S-400 doing an offensive maneuver for the first time. That's what's the purpose of FM's Field Masters on the visit to the US? Ahmed Abdullah पूछते हैं. Ahmed, basically, Field Marshal Asim Munir, जो General Panetta, who was the US Central Command Chief, की farewell पे गए थे, and he met the new Central Command head, which is Vice Marshal, Vice Admiral from the United States Navy. He just took over, took pictures with him. We'll show you some pictures. उसके बाद उन्होंने यहाँ पे बात की है. Of course, the second part is this, which is more interesting. The Field Marshal said, "We'll wait for India to build a dam, then finish it up with 10 missiles. The Indus River is not Indian family property. हमें मिसाइलों की कमी नहीं है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह." एंड आई थिंक वो मैं लेट मी जस्ट पुट यू द एग्जैक्ट कोड. उन्होंने ये कहा कि हम इंडिया को डैम बनाने देंगे और फिर 10 मिसाइल से फारिग कर देंगे एंड दैट वाज द वर्ड यूज फारिग एंड दैट शो that shows he's in sync with the with the slang language of Pakistan. The word farig, of course. Indian Prime Minister Modi used this word called Hague Denge. Um, the Field Marshal would have has chosen the word Farik Kar Denge. This is a big statement again. What does this imply? It implies a strategy A, कि Pakistan is not forgotten India's uh, abeyance of Indus Water Treaty. They've taken it seriously. Our strategy again is to give them and understanding that any infrastructure to stop waters or flow of waters will be retaliated by a preemptive strike, or it wouldn't be such a preemptive strike because water itself is one of the fundamental core of a nuclear threshold. It was broken. मैं इसके personally मैं तनकीद करता हूँ कि हमें हमारे पास जब एयर सिक्योरिटी थी पहले भी जैसे कि हमें पता था वी शुड हैव हिट द डैम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स. माइंड यू इंडिया डिड ट्राई टू हिट वन ऑफ द डैम infrastructures inside Pakistan, which is Neelam Jhelum project, right? और हमने नहीं किया. So this statement के वो डैम बनाएंगे और हम 10 मिसाइल्स से मार देंगे और हमारे पास मिसाइलों की कमी नहीं. that itself shows the aggressive maneuvering um, any of the army chief has shown. बहुत ही बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि मैं ये समझता हूँ, क्योंकि देयर इज अ आप लोग क्या समझते हैं, देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन जनरल बाजवा एंड जो है वो जनरल बाजवा एंड ऑफ कोर्स General Asim Munir. General Bajwa was a passive general. This guy changed how war is taken on. General Bajwa did give out Abhinandan. This guy is holding to a lot of things. Let's just say it to this thing, and I don't want to talk about anything else further than that. But this guy, Field Marshal Asim Munir, has hit inside Iran, has gone inside Afghanistan, and his hit inside India as well. So that made him the field marshal. So this is somebody you would take seriously. I understand the Indians are taking this very seriously, especially with this what I called uh, मुनीर डॉक्ट्रिन, राइट? और उस पे जो है वो हम तफसील से बात कर सकते हैं। जी, सवाल मैं ले लूँगा। अयाज हसन सिंधु पूछते हैं, गिफ्ट 35 रिवील ऑन द 14th ऑफ अगस्त। अम, अ, वो मेरे ख्याल से उन्हीं को उसी वक़्त रहने दीजिए, बट तो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस, द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ यूजिंग दिस स्टेटमेंट वेयर वी वांट टू हिट इट, दैट एक्चुअली शोज़ doctrine that we will hit any of the infrastructures, or that would be very interesting because India is has tendered or given out tenders to the things, and this is where my strategy is. मैं हमेशा ये चीज कहता था, we want for this, सही है आपके पास खत्म हो गए, you won the narrative war, आपने जहाज मार दिए, but I always think that was not enough to deter Indians, right? तो उसपे मैंने कहा कि चलें, सही है, जंग नहीं करते, and my strategy had always, to somehow tell the Pakistani army and the security idares and everything from a policy point of view that we should be using non-kinetic means. Kinetic आपने use कर लिया. What is non-kinetic means, and उसका reason क्या है non-kinetic means use करने का? Make India pay for its how do you put it? Put retribution on things. So just make India a war risk country. And how do you make in जैसे उन्होंने हमें किया, right? FDIs. So when you give out statements like this, that will if India makes infrastructure, we will hit you with missiles. That itself, what is the significance of it? जब आप टेंडर करते हैं तो उसके लिए फंडिंग्स लेते हैं, right? World Bank and any other third party or banks would do a risk assessment on these, and when it's a risk, and not just a risk internally कि वो project नहीं completed, but from external, that it became a disputed thing in a disputed territory, it would never get funded by a third party. Dams are super expensive. You need billions of dollars for infrastructure to just to finance this. So yes, the strategy is Alhamdulillah right. We want to make India a war risk country, uh, but not just from a Jammu Kashmir and a dam perspective, but from a normal economy where we want to make India a war risk country, जहाँ पे उनकी जो main cities हैं, जैसे हब Mumbai is one part, Gujarat is other part, and all these would so FDI wants to draw um, should be dried off. And how do we make this a war risk country? That is something we will discuss sometime later in a different thing where non-kind. So Indus Water Treaty. हाँ, ओके। एमकेएम के एक बहुत बड़े लीडर थे, उनका नाम है जी जनरल जो है, लेट मी जस्ट आई हैड अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग okay, I've just got a very interesting SMS from somebody who's very okay. uh, okay, so I just want to show this uh, to somebody. So the MKM के leader है बाबर गौरी. stood up and asked this question कि भैया कि जो है वो हम ये बात करते हैं कि जनरलों को जो है वो जंग नहीं और इस टाइप की बातें की तो आसिम मुनी was tough. He said that if war is too serious to be left to the generals, politics is so far too serious to be left to the politicians. Now, this is a huge statement coming from General Asim Muni, and actually, uh, it gives us a perspective of how the military or the state thinks of the current situation. This clarifies a lot of things. This clarifies there is a hybrid regime. The military is in control. और आपने देखा होगा कि हमारे politicians जो थे उन्होंने legislation की और वो businessmen को tough time देने जा रहे थे जहाँ पे बहुत ही impractical बात 2 लाख की ऊपर की transaction पे वो चाहते थे कि उसका audit और वो different चीजों the business chambers actually went out to Asim Munir and I think it was 21 chambers from the country who met Asim Munir with business leaders and Field Marshal Asif Munir actually vetoed it and got killed. But this goes to show that the army is planning something big. My request is that they need to look after Sindh, which is probably the worst governance model you can see, and Karachi, where which actually gives you money and being it is being, of course, uh, taken off the context. Gee, I could. So these are some of the things which he said. Uh, s- Let me just put on more stuff. So very interesting times, General Asim Munir ke baare mein, and let me just give you some of the stuff he said. So he said that if okay, we've किसी की माँ okay and and this is it's funny to read किसी की माँ काली हो सकती है किसी की धरती माँ काली हो सकती है पर माँ माँ होती है और मुझे ये बात समझ में नहीं आई somehow this is I'm giving you an exact quote he said किसी की माँ काली हो सकती है किसी की धरती काली हो सकती है पर माँ माँ होती है and um, tell me, what does it mean? मुझे समझ में नहीं आई. If you're watching this, tell me what does this mean? Um, फिर he said Pakistan should be consulted for a lesson on balancing powers. We are we are not misers. हम कंजूस नहीं है. Good work deserves appreciation. Um, that's why we nominated President Donald Trump as a Nobel Peace for the Nobel Peace Prize, and that's a big statement. Of course, he said that कि हम कंजूस नहीं हैं हमसे सीखना चाहिए फॉरेन पॉलिसी स्पेशली कि किस तरह से बैलेंसिंग एक्ट करते हैं और हमने डोनाल्ड क्योंकि हम कंजूस नहीं हैं डोनाल्ड हम समझते हैं डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प ने अच्छा काम किया हमने उन्हें नोबेल पीस प्राइज के लिए नॉमिनेट किया दैट वाज हिज एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑन nominating President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Um, okay, so these are the things which he said. I could just take on some questions if you have. Uh, Interesting times, very interesting times. Um, and okay, okay. So, एक tweet करवाई थी सूर्य फिल and a picture of the industrialist Mukesh Ambani to show what. So, what is this tweet? यार वो सूरह फिल की ट्वीट थी आई थिंक आईएसपीआर ने की थी और वो उसके बारे में उन्होंने बात की जेएफ 35 अयान my understanding is there is something happening big. We are actually waiting for the right time to announce because we are looking anxiously at India to actually order something and then we'll be announcing something from there. Uh, तो वो बड़ा एक इशू है. स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द ईस्ट वाला ओके तो स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द ईस्ट वाला वो यही है कि हम ईस्ट से हिट करेंगे एंड दिस इज हाउ the strategy I think let's not discuss strategies we understand um, I've spoken to some of the think tanks, military think tanks. IPRI is one. I'll name it. Brigadier Rashid Janjua. And we'll bring him down sometime. And Rashid Bhai and everything. So they've done some great work in research on how Pakistan has to be more creative. There are a lot of other think tanks within the military, and of course, इनके अपने war gamings होते हैं and everything. So there is an understanding, and there is a will that India needs to be shown more of a lesson. I think we lost that window during the time, but I think मैं अभी भी कहूँगा हमने we showed too much self-restraint during this so-called Operation Sindhu to counter that Operation Sindhu with Banyan Mahsus. हमें उन्हें hit करना चाहिए था, उनकी mainland को hit करना चाहिए था. We should have hit Mumbai, we should have hit Delhi, we should have hit Goa. Um, और आपको मतलब मिसाइल से हिट करने की जो साइकोप्स कर लेते हैं, बट साइकोप्स इंक्लूड्स ड्रोन, सेंडिंग आउट ड्रोन्स एंड एवरीथिंग दे. सो आई थिंक अगेन एंड हमारा जो आपने देखा होगा फतेह 1 एंड फतेह 2 का वी हिट आउट विद not missiles but rockets. It was just tier 1 of things, and we these were toys, and actually that और कोई सोचता है कि सिर्फ एयरफोर्स की वजह से हुए. एयरफोर्स वाज वन पार्ट ऑफ इट. India went out to seek ceasefire only after military operation when they fired Fateh 1 and Fateh 2. So these are very interesting times, and Asim Munir is on fire. I think the Prime Minister is on fire too for going out. The Foreign Minister has done some great work in this. There is a team which is Team Pakistan. We all ought to be behind them, regardless of political reasons. Um, there is a battle to be fought in Pakistan, which is against TTP BLA. हम इस पे अलहदा बात करते रहेंगे, but this was about Asim Muni's visit to the United States. Uh, Probably third consecutive or second consecutive in about a month's time. This guy is flying some serious miles. And he's just flying to the United States. He's just flew to China. He flew back to Pakistan. He flew to the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and then, of course, back to the US. And he'd be coming back. So um, imagine the kind of fatigue this Asim Muni would be going through, travel fatigue. Uh, this is actually hyperactive uh, power display by Pakistan, uh, well coordinated, precise, targeted for Pakistan, not for personal gains. I could tell you, this is bringing results. Thank you, for all those who've joined us.